Welcome back to the Center for Off-Road Research and Shenanigans. And I tried to make a video last night. I started to, and being that I was doing it after 10 o'clock, I thought it was brilliant. Then I woke up today and realized it wasn't. So I'm going to do something today that maybe is actually useful to some people. And I'm doing it because I started off by, excuse my mess here, this is the table I work on things on. Anyway, I started off with this car here. It's my, what I called my ultimate build, 4-wheel steer, long wheelbase, and basically spared no expense on it. And it's a mean truck, but I thought it was pretty awesome. I built this one out of a rig that I was going to part out and just sell pieces for, and it turns out that this one, the roof is off of it right now, but that's not a big deal. It doesn't weigh anything really, a couple ounces, or I mean a couple grams. But the main thing is I found out that the Trio rig does a lot better than the red one. And I'd heard all this talk about the 60-40 weight balance, and I decided to find out what that balance is, because the white one can climb things that my red one just can't go up, even with a longer wheelbase. So this video I'm going to show you kind of how to figure out that weight ratio and figure out what it should be. So I get started with that here. I've created a worksheet for each rig here. This is my ultimate build rig that I tried to build with sparing no expense. This is my Trio rig that I built out of parts that I was going to actually intended to sell it, and just put it back together and kept it. But anyway, I'm going to find out what the total weight of both of the vehicles. Then we're going to get the current front axle weight, rear axle weight for both, and I'll also figure out what the ideal is, and then we'll kind of see how far apart, what the balance currently is front to back. It's supposed to be 60 in the front, 40 in the rear, and it's gonna probably involve me taking some things off of the rig that I put on that I thought made it better, but maybe it didn't. So we'll get right into it. I'll get the total weight of both vehicles. And my long wheelbase 4-wheel steer car is coming in at 392.7 for a total weight. The Trio Mobile is at 359. And here's where the magic happens. We'll get our magic numbers this way. And I am weighing this with a battery in the truck. I forgot to put one in the Trio Mobile, so I'm going to have to reweigh the total weight on that one. And my scale turned off. There we go. So 203 and 189. I'm going to put a battery in the other one and reweigh it. Trio Mobile is 382.4. I show you the mistakes too. Alright, let's find out the weight distribution on this one. Have it settled on its shocks. 220 and 161.5. 221.1. 161.3. If it wanders a little bit, I don't care. Alright, this is the part where I'm going to put my public education to work for me, and I'm going to figure out what 60% of this number is and what 40% is, and 60% goes here, 40% goes here. It's real easy to do that. I'm just going to put 392.7 times 0.6, and that gives me 235.62. I'll just make it 235 for simplicity. And the back side, 392.7 times 0.4, 157.08. So I'm going to make 157. So we can tell that's a long way off. It's much heavier on the tail than it should be by 30 grams, and ideally all I would have to do is move 15 grams from the very back to the front, and that would make this truck a lot better. What I'm going to do instead is just remove that 9-gram differential cover from the UBR. So that's what I'm going to do for this one, and I may end up also getting one of these 13-gram front skid plates here. It's a skid plate and heavier diff cover, and I think that would put the balance right in, because it'll add 13 grams up front, and by getting rid of that weight in the back, it should be very close to centered. We'll take a look at the other one. I'll start with the total weight of the Trailmobile, 382.4 times 0.6 to figure out that 0.6, and this will figure out what the front axle should be. 229.44. I'm just going to make it 229 for simplicity. And I'm drawing around my camera stand, so it's a little messy. And in an ideal world, starting at 382.4, I'm going to multiply that by 0.4, and it should be 152.96. So basically 153. Now the difference in that is exactly about 8 pounds, or I'm sorry, 8 grams. Well, to make it perfect, all I would need to do is remove that fancy cover from the back, which is 9 grams, but I really like the way it looks. It's black and painted, and it's cool, but in an ideal world, it shouldn't be there, because by removing it, I will get it really close to that ideal 60/40. And the problem with this rig here is the back of it is so heavy due to the fact that 4-wheel steer rigs have an extra servo on the back. The only bad thing about taking low weight away is it proportionally makes the center of gravity higher, and I'll lose some side hill ability just by getting rid of those 9 grams. Another option would be to try to sort of remove some off the just any extra material that doesn't need to be on the back. I could get rid of that, but in the case of the UBR rig here, it's just a little bit too far out. I've got to make up 37 grams somewhere, and the best way to do that is just going to be to pull the rear diff cover off. I'll give it to my dad. But that's how you figure it out. It's very simple. Just take your, I'll show you on this, I'll write it out and then come right back. So it's real easy. Just weigh total weight of your vehicle, and you times that point by 0.06, and that will give you the ideal front axle weight. You multiply your total weight by 0.4, and it will give you your ideal rear axle weight if you're going for that 60/40 split. And I got these scales off of eBay. They were about $5 or $6. They're really cheap, and they work pretty well. Go through batteries quick, but I don't care, they're rechargeables. But I hope that helps. I'm gonna pull out that rear diff cover on the back, throw a stock one back on, and just accept the fact that I'll lose just a tiny bit of side hilling. I'm not too worried about it, and if anything, I might try to see if I can't throw some wheel weights inside the dish here, so that would make up for it. And I've been running a little bit too nose heavy on the bias, and I found it out with the Trailmobile here. So I hope it helps you. That's the video for today, and let me know what you think. I also will post my videos, anything of value I'm going to put on YouTube and on Rumble on my channel there. If you don't know how to find it, just go to rumble.com, search for EXP Iowa, and it'll be there. I also put a lot of just running videos and garbage on that one. That's just fun stuff that I do. It's not informational at all, but it's just stuff I like to do, and running certain lines on my course. I have recently reconfigured it, come up with some new lines that are really cool, and it exposed some of the weaknesses in my other rigs. And this one, again, the roof's off of it for a project I'm doing right now, but I'll put it back on later today. It exposed a few weaknesses, and this car was so much better than the others that I had to do something, figure out why, and this is why. I've got almost a 50-50 weight balance on this one. It's really close, and it needs to be more of a 60-40, similar to this. So I've got a couple of diff covers to pull off, and hopefully they'll be even better next time. Thought I'd do a little bonus footage at the end of this video, and I have swapped the stock plastic diff cover back on, removed the beautiful 9-gram one here that I got, and I'll probably put that on the front of my dad's truck. I like that. But anyway, I did remove that, and I also shaved down, this was a servo disc that I had basically cut the remainder of the circle out and just left this part down below, and probably lost, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 grams there, plus the 9 grams. So I'm about halfway back to getting it towards that 30. So I'm probably around a little under 15 grams and needed to somehow get 30 grams off the back of this, or add some to the front. I'll go ahead and order one for the front, a new skid plate like on the Trailmobile that is a 13-gram one with the skid plate. I was kind of hesitant to use these skid plate ones because I thought I'd be giving up some clearance, and as it turns out, I mean, this thing is maybe a fraction of a millimeter thick. You're not giving up anything, and it's smooth, and rocks won't catch on that. They'll just slide past it, and if anything, I think it'll slide better than even the plastic, because the plastic will scratch and kind of dig into the plastic slightly, maybe not that much, but I've had no issues with this metal skid plate axle weight, and I'm going to order a second one for my ultimate build rig. And the reason I'm trying to do this is I'm finding out that in order for a crawler to crawl up something well, the back tires have to push it high enough to get the front tires over the obstacle. But once it's over the obstacle, the front tires then have to pull the rear end up over it as well. And if the back end is too heavy, your high front axle is not going to have enough authority to pull much weight over the top. So that's the reason for getting rid of the rear end weight. But you do need some to push the front end over an obstacle. So that's the reasoning behind it. Next video, I'll just have some running stuff, and hopefully the red one will be able to do what the white one can do now. Thanks for watching.